Assalamu alaikum, Maya.
Wa alaikum salam. It sounds like you're saying my name too, is that right?
What is the meaning of the word sorry?
Well, that's a great question. Sorry is such a little word that packs a lot of different meaning. Like at its core, it expresses regret or sadness when you've done something wrong or when something bad has happened to someone else. But it's interesting because sometimes people say sorry even when they haven't really done anything wrong, like bumping into someone in a crowd or when someone else is upset. It's like a little catch-all social thing we do. Does that make sense?
Where did the word sorry originally come from?
That's a bit unclear. Did you say Taoist originally? Actually, that's super fascinating. The word sorry comes from really old roots about pain and sadness. It actually comes from Old English, meaning feeling grief, and traces all the way back to words that meant hard or rough, like pain itself. So saying sorry is almost acknowledging something that feels difficult. Wild, right? What made you curious about that one?
How was sorry used in Old English?
When you say it, are you still talking about the word sorry or something else? I want to make sure I'm getting you right.
What emotion do saying sorry usually express?
That's a cool way to put it. When people say sorry, they're usually feeling some kind of regret, like when they've done something wrong or made a mistake. But like we were talking before, it can also be this way of showing sympathy when something bad happens, even if you didn't cause it. Sometimes people say it almost as a reflex, just being polite when someone else bumps into them. It's funny how much meaning this one little word carries around, isn't it?
How has the meaning of sorry changed over time?
Quickly look into that. It's actually changed quite a bit. It used to really mean deep grief or remorse, like actual repentance for something serious. But over time, it kind of weakened. Now we say sorry for everything from stepping on someone's foot to just mild inconvenience. Apparently, the way we use it as a quick I'm sorry really took off in the 60s with some TV show, but it's gotten to the point where it's almost lost its weight in some ways. What do you think about that? Does sorry feel different to you now than it used to?
Why is apology important in human relationships?
Look into that. That's a really interesting question. And surprisingly, it seems like blogging can actually be pretty important for women's relationships. It's become a way for women to build communities and connect with others who are going through similar things, sharing experiences, advice, emotional support. It can make people feel less alone, especially when dealing with tough stuff. Is that what you were thinking about?
What is difference between saying sorry and really apologizing?
That's really perceptive. There's a huge difference between simply saying sorry and actually apologizing, right? Like saying sorry can be super casual, almost automatic. It's polite, but it doesn't necessarily show deep remorse. Seeing is even different than both. When someone sees what they've done wrong, that feels like the deepest level. When someone sees it, they understand why it hurt. Really, apologizing means taking full responsibility, acknowledging the pain you caused, and making it clear that you'll try to do better next time. It's about more than just the words, it's the sincerity behind them and what comes after. Do you feel like that tracks with what you've noticed?
How do different countries express apology?
Let me think about that one. I think I got a bit confused there. It looks like you may have been saying glory, but meant friends in countries like Pakistan. What I found suggests that friendship there is really valued, and people express it through being loyal, supportive, and celebrating each other's achievements. It's also about practical help, like financial support or sharing meals. Sounds like a pretty solid way to show friendship, actually.
Why do people sometimes say sorry maybe when
I'm not sure I
they are not work?
caught that. Clearly, did you say by some type of sensory pain? Could you try saying that again?
What role does empathy play in a blog?
Okay, it sounds like you're asking about what role faith plays in community settings like clubs. I think faith can bring people together by creating a sense of purpose and belonging. Clubs centered around faith might offer support networks and encourage social activities that align with those beliefs. Different religions have different views on the role of socializing. It's interesting to think about how groups build their rituals and how that shapes connections between people.
How can science apology rebuild trust?
Mm. You're asking about how science can help with stress, right? There's actually a lot of research on that. Practices like mindfulness meditation, which comes from ancient Buddhist traditions, have been shown to actually change brain chemistry and lower stress hormones. Things like exercise are super effective. Physical activity is almost like nature's stress relief. Even stuff like spending time in nature has benefits. And increasingly, researchers are looking at how diet impacts our brain chemistry and stress responses. There's some pretty powerful science behind managing stress effectively.
What are the key elements of a meaningful apology?
I'm not quite sure what you were asking there. I got some parts, but it was a bit unclear. Could you repeat that?
Why can apologizing sometimes be difficult?
Oh, uploading. Yeah, that can be frustrating. A lot of it depends on your internet connection. If it's slow or unreliable, things take way longer. File size matters too. Big files obviously take more time. Sometimes the website or app you're uploading to is just overloaded with traffic, kind of like rush hour on the highway. And occasionally it could be your device. Maybe it's running low on memory or has background processes slowing everything down. Have you been dealing with one of those issues lately?
How does body language affect an apology? Apology.
I'm not sure if I caught that clearly. Can you repeat what you were asking about body language? The part about abounding was a little unclear.
What is the physiological impact of hearing I am sorry?
Okay, you're asking about how hearing affects our physical selves? This is fascinating because it's more than just ears. When we hear sounds, the vibrations from sound waves actually go through our whole body. You can physically feel deep bass frequencies, for example, but also hearing stimulates our nervous system in ways that affect heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, muscles, even. And when we listen to certain music or sounds, it can trigger emotional responses that change how we feel physically. It's a pretty whole body experience when you think about it.
How do children learn to apologize?
What do you mean by upload this? Are you talking about how kids like learn about technology or something like specific?